It's standard in the West, certainly, to speak of Putin as the bad guy and to speak of the current Russian positioning on the borders of Ukraine as a sign of yet further Russian aggression of the Afghanistan kind or into East Europe after the end of the Second World War. But the map tells a different story. It tells an almost contrary story to this view of Putin and of Russia. It tells the story of a steady NATO advance into Eastern Europe to confront Russia around its borders.
А сегодня мы видим инфраструктуру НАТО прямо у нашего дома. Более того, обсуждаются вопросы вступления Украины в НАТО. Говорят, как вы сказали, это не будет завтра. А когда? Послезавтра. А что это для нас меняет в исторической перспективе? Ровным счетом ничего. Мы слышим, что Украина не готова сегодня к вступлению в НАТО. Мы знаем этот тезис. И тут же говорят, что ее завтра не примут. А примут тогда, когда ее подготовят к этому. Но для нас это может быть уже поздно. Поэтому мы хотим решить этот вопрос сейчас. Вот прямо сейчас, в ближайшее время, в ходе переговорного процесса.
From 12 member countries in 1949, NATO has expanded to 30 member countries now, mostly in Eastern Europe around the borders with Russia. 14 of them joined only after 1997. Ukraine, not yet a NATO member, but a NATO partner country as it is called, is next in that line of intended NATO expansion, and that is where Putin has drawn a line.
NATO's relationship with Ukraine is going to be decided by the 30 NATO allies and Ukraine, no one else. We cannot accept that Russia is trying to re-establish a system where big powers like Russia has spheres of influence where they can control or decide what other members can do.
NATO is mighty but brittle. Article 5, under which an attack on any member country will be considered an attack on every member country, is becoming increasingly more difficult to sustain. Under that article, all of NATO joined the US in its adventure into Afghanistan, but the US pulled out unilaterally without consulting any other member. French President Macron said 2 years back that NATO is now brain dead. Now, after a 5-hour meeting with Putin, he has said that there can be no security for Europe without security for Russia. There are signs now that Putin's build-up on the borders is beginning to hit home and that hawks within NATO are being restrained in their intent to drive on further into Ukraine. It will take such restraints to prevent a war. It is becoming clear that several leading NATO members, including France, Germany, even the US, lack the will to get into a military confrontation with Russia. NATO might be more than just brain dead.